Hi everybody, this is Mark at Mandalas, and welcome to part 2 of the pinwheel or spiral pattern tutorial. This is a little bit longer video than I've done for the other tutorials, as there are several steps, and I'm going to do my best to go ahead and cover everything. This is the first tutorial that will include walking the dots, and it's kind of hard to explain, so I do have a little video clip that will show how I apply the dots, and the fact that I don't re-dip the tool to help create that tapering effect. It's just a natural thing that happens as there's less paint on the tip of the tool. I am using the small end of the pink handled stylus for this, and I'm going to go ahead and, after doing one section here, I'm going to show step by step for the next section, and then I'm just going to go ahead and show you the completed section so you don't have to watch me put every single dot on this step. There are some later steps also that I will condense down, as a lot of these are taking place on the side of the rock and they drape over, so it's hard to see all of the dots at the same time. And after we're done walking the dots around the border, we're going to continue finishing the border up with some, for lack of a better term, drop down dots, and it creates kind of a doily effect where it's draping over the edge. We're going to do a couple different sizes, graduating down in size. We're going to be doing this with the white border as well as the outer accent dots. And something that I like to do when I'm putting my dots on a rock, and you don't really see it very often, I have put a few photos in occasionally to show I like to put the dot on the back side of the rock, meaning when I'm sitting there facing the rock, I don't put the dot on the face closest to me. I go on the other side. I feel it gives me a better line of sight to help keep things straight. If you haven't tried that, give it a try and see if it works for you. It's something that I figured out along the way works well for me. I'm sure it's a personal preference, and I just wanted to share with you that technique if you're having problems with keeping straight lines as the pattern moves outward. There's going to be a total of 3 drop down dots from the outer accent dot and 2 drop downs from the large white border dot. I hope these terms are making sense to you. I'm kind of making them up. And we're just about done with these, and we're going to be moving on to the top dots here in just a moment. The top dots, to me, are a little bit easier because the main dots have already been placed and you already have your complete roadmap put out. The thing that I focus most on is trying to center the top dot as close as possible. It's pretty forgiving though. When you get a couple feet away from it, if it's not perfect, it's going to be really hard to tell. And as we're going around placing the top dots on each successive circle of dots, I'm going to talk about the final step of this tutorial, as it takes a bit of time to explain it, I think. It's the decal that you can put on the center dot on your mandala, and you can do it on this one or any one. And something that I do is I use the same color center dot as the backing color of whatever decal I'm going to use. So you find whatever decal it is that you would like to put in the middle on your computer, and when you save it, make sure it's not anything that's copywritten or protected or trademarked. And when you save it to your computer, you want to go ahead and get ready to print it out, and there's a screen that should give you some options for adjustment, and you want to adjust the scale quite a bit actually. The example on here shows me changing the scale down to 5% of the original size, which was still too big, so I had to shrink it once again to 3.5%. You'll just have to experiment with it and make it the size in relation to whatever center dot you have. And once you do that, you print it out, cut it out with a pair of scissors, and it's going to be a pretty small piece of paper, so I would recommend using a pair of tweezers. Makes it easier to handle. If you drop it for some reason, you have a hard time picking it up, you can wet your finger very slightly and it will stick to it. And then you go ahead and just apply a little bit of, I used Mod Podge gloss. You can also use Elmer's glue. Put just a little bit on the center dot and then maybe just a little bit on the piece of paper itself, but you can just put it on the center dot if you like, and then set the decal on there. You might have to slide it around a bit with a pair of tweezers, or I even used one of my Q-tips with the fine point to move it around and kind of smush it down onto the center dot. I need to interrupt myself for a moment though, because we're coming up to the micro drill bit section, the smallest top dot, and I would recommend not trying this without magnifying glasses. I mean, you're more than welcome to, but it's a very small drill bit. I got it at Harbor Freight in a micro drill bit set, and if you want, give it a try. If not, you know, I totally understand. But if you don't have magnifying glasses, it would be very challenging to get that top dot in the center. And getting back to the decal, you've smushed it onto the center dot, got it nice and smooth. Now you want to put one more drop of glue or Mod Podge on top and get it covered and let it dry. Don't worry if you get any on the other colored dots, because it's going to dry clear anyway. Don't forget you can pause this tutorial at any time to get a better look at any step. This is Mark from Mandalas. Until next time, rock on.